So we finally got some video on this. Goodness, I didn't think I'd ever be able to start recording. So we know the point in the past, so it's 8:45:21 now on the iPhone YouTube video. And I should still be recording on my oh, here we go. We're looking at, no, we weren't recording then video on that screen, which is not a big deal. We just know that we want to find out when in the past the end of that podcast was, and then link up that moment of everyone in the podcast seeing the video and uploading their videos to the same website, so the website could then take all those downloads of the of the Trance Around the World, Above and Beyond's 400 podcast. Where in the past did that moment happen, and in this recording, and the idea of all those minds sending the data in, and then all those AIs looking at that and modeling it into a 3D shape. Like I was talking about, I could write a status that could crash the biggest web page, then pay you all the first 1,000 that email me at my email address. I could make you all $1,000 if you did what I said. My mind is dangerous. Did I just made a virus? Is this illegal? Dr. Eagleoff, that's crazy. What I'm talking about is a test for a general AI. The AI has to make $1 billion and answer my question, but this event in the future is called the SparksX test. It's about the best AI to compete for $1 billion one day. I'll give that test and pay anyone that can do my online video. I'm just meaning, can an AI become self-aware and answer the SparksX test? And they all compete for $1 billion. Well, the X prize is $1 billion, but the AI got to make $1 billion and compete for it, and then answer my Sparks test. So if the AI can become self-aware and do that test and make $1 billion and then get the money to himself, and you can explain this pattern here. You can see that X pattern. It's got to be able to explain what mathematically this shape is, if you can see what I'm creating with the feedback on the screen. Like that has a specific distribution, and the AI needs to be able to say what this shape is in this dimension, and then it has to be able to understand more maths that I could do to take this shape and morph it through like a Riemann transformation or do some other kind of mathematical trick with it. Well, let's say that this squiggly pattern becomes a plane and it's flat, and then we take a circle. How do we explain what the Riemann transformation is? It's a really simple idea. It's taking a sphere and mapping it onto a plane with a point of view, so then transfer that three-dimensional shape onto a two-dimensional shape and keep it all proportional. And if you can visualize that, like, it's kind of if I put the video on myself, so what I'm describing is difficult mathematical tests for general AI to do. I mean, can you take, for example, a loop of paper, give it one flip, which is a Mobius strip, and then can you give that an extra 2 more flips, so it's like a 3-flip Mobius strip, then cut it down the middle, and then what does it design, Like, believe it or not, you can take this is what I discovered. I'm going to explain it to you. I haven't looked at my books. Or I had to get like some of the nonsense I got written down. It's just like, mathematically, can you take a Mobius strip, cut it down the middle, and then let it intersect itself 3 times to give you a knot, and then can you take that knot and twist it into something that is two-dimensional. So we've gone from being non-orientable to orientable through like several transformations, but I can't find my stupid notebook, and I can't explain that to you much better if I even made an attempt to explain what topology is. Like, I just hate shit when I can't find shit. I mean, that's just what I'm moaning about right now. Oh, because I was hiding this from myself. Oh yeah, here we go. It's like the talkings of a madman amongst all my papers. Like, I'm just trying to describe. I don't even know if I drew the dimensions right. I probably don't have a 3-dimensional drawing. Oh great, so you got to see this not as what the manifold is in 3 dimensions. I can only show you what a Mobius strip that's like this. So this is the one flip Mobius strip cut down the middle, then intersected twice as a frame knot. So if you get the crossings right and then took another edge and made it a ribbon with 4 twists, if you connected one edge to the other edge, then you'd go from a shape with 2 flips, 2 surfaces to 1 surface, and we've lost a surface. So if you're starting backwards, you don't know what a Mobius strip is. That's a normal Mobius strip that's been transformed into in this case, a framed knot. But this is what a 3-flip Mobius strip cut down the middle looks like. It gets into a really special braid knot where the edges disappear, and that's just one of the many knots that it creates. And I got a whole list of them, and I can't actually find a nice diagram of them all, because maybe for now you want to see what all the knots look like together, because then you could work out what the shortest route is between all of them. That's a mistake. That's not part of the methodology. That's a nice one. So in terms of an AI, it would have to pattern recognize. That's not one. Yeah, here's some of the results. So the AI would have to pattern recognize what the knots are and work out what. Oh, should I invented knot theory for myself? Inadvertently, I developed a way for myself to name the knots and the crossings, but then I started reading about knot theory and realized I had already invented it. There's another knot. I'm looking at it upside down. Oh, this is how I didn't document it from the beginning. So I did in my notebooks. If you start from the beginning of the notebooks, I would see how I developed it for myself. But here's how I took the knots apart. So there's the last 4 twists. So that's called a Whitney trick, which I developed, but then found out what the name of it was. And I'm like, oh, well, someone got there first, Whitney. But this is how mathematicians connect. They link different things. I didn't realize that topology was so linked to quantum mechanics, and quantum mechanics is linked to algorithms and Wall Street and knowing technical analysis. Like it's all connected, and I can kind of explain how it's all connected. So the AI would again have to follow all these knots and see how they get put together. There's the early knot theory, knot notation that I wrote. So it all gets a very bit mad. So it's just my love of like stock markets, mathematics, physics, topology. Like in terms of technical analysis, like it's all related. That's why I read all this stuff, because I like seeing how it's all connected. And while I'm not successful yet, I still got to go on and believe that I can be successful and figure out how it all works together. And in terms of charts, like these are all the trades that I didn't take. This is scary. This is technical analysis. Euro dollar, and you'd recognize, AI would have to know that's euro dollar. That's last year's euro dollar, November 4th. Oh, these are all daily charts. So again, you won't know these charts, but if you start to recognize an hourly chart for the euro dollar for last year and see it as a 1 hour chart, and then maybe zoom out to a daily chart. So if you start to understand how to look at markets across all time frames, and then know this point right here, and I can show you this point in other videos, on the 4th of November, and how that related to a longer term trend line, a double top, a bearish divergence, and there's another trend line. Like when you can find 4 or 5 reasons in one place to trade, you got yourself a killer strategy. And that's like, it goes to my technical analysis notebook, which should be here somewhere. It's black. And I've been documenting all of my thought process for how I've developed a multi-indicator setup. And if you're getting curious, you think, wow, you might be onto something, but it's the same idea. I'm just looking to cluster things together. Like, this is my cluster strategy. 3 signals, or else I keep it simple. I rank them all. 1, 2, 3. Cluster strategy. So you want to find a trendline support, or we have an intraday sell-off that might hit like a pivot level or pass resistance support, and there's a unique bullish RSI divergence more than 5% that crosses from oversold above. And if it's the first one for the day, if you can line all that up, then you got yourself a killer entry point. And that's how, like, if you can develop a autonomous Wall Street black box that could do this, like it would start to make money basically. I don't know what money is actually, or what it's about.